Amazing.
Oh my god.
So wait,
Right now,
Joe,
we're up.
so wait, Joe has a secret baby in France?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God,
It's not
Joe!
a baby, it's a toddler. It's like technically like 5 years
I'm
old.
gonna put on a record talking about
Exactly.
Like the
it.
definition of
You heard
baby is
Joe named his baby Adidas.
We look
I knew
funny.
it.
Like we look like
We look like
stressed in.
We're
like all
skin.
squished in. We're all squished.
Welcome to Pop Culture Renegades. This is gonna be where we talk about whatever the fuck we want.
It doesn't matter.
This is going to be the channel where I know on hashtag show you know us more for doing Power Rangers or the news, or Johnny with Johnny, myself, and Jez are doing Marvel. Daniel, and myself doing Power Ranger stuff. Migdalia's back from the
Jersey.
East Coast.
Yeah.
And before she left, she was doing horror and the DC show, amongst other things. So this is going to be the
And
chance.
the Marvel. But they
Right.
kicked all the women off. So
Well, because
take notice of that.
Well, we do better.
Appreciation.
Well, because you put it back on CHS.
We are bringing it live to you. About we want you guys to get to know us as people. So this is going to be the kind of show where we just talk about not ourselves, but talk about who we are, talk about how we view things, just talk about shit that you guys want to know.
Yeah.
So right now we already have somebody in the room. What is this? Makala Maniac? Malik? I can't say that.
Macaca Maniac.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, Maniac?
Hello to you. Shout out to
Hobbies?
you. We're glad
Wow,
you're
he's
here.
just getting down to business.
All right, so hobbies. Well, Johnny's a comic writer.
I am.
Chat me up about your comic writing.
So I write comics. I write a couple different ones. I write one called Blackfist and Brown Hand, a black and brown exploitation comedy. I write another one called Broken, an all ages book. And all those books that I write are kind of based upon my love, like shonen manga and anime, and like Power Ranger stuff. That's why I'm on Henshin Hangout. So those are kind of inspiring me. Like my favorite anime right now and manga is One Piece, which is super dope.
Okay, now I'm glad you brought up the topic of anime because Anime Expo's right around the corner.
Oh yeah, it is.
Migdalia, I want you to talk to me about one of your most well-known animes that maybe you knew about.
Sailor Moon.
All right, let's dive
Let's
into that a little bit.
Yeah,
Sailor
because
Moon.
You're not a big anime fan, right? So picking Sailor Moon, a popular one, is one where I want to know as to why. Why Sailor Moon for you?
Because it was cool. It was like an all-female led, super powered group, and all I had growing up was Power Rangers, but I didn't relate to Trini or Kimberly at all. So,
Fighting
it was,
evil by moonlight.
yeah, I don't know. It was very, I like anime. It's very stylish, and, I like the tone of it. It's just too much out there to get into, and, I kind of fell off.
Wait, quick question. Who was your favorite sailor?
Sailor Mars, of course.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
All right, so
Fire.
Daniel, speaking of female empowerment,
Yes, okay.
who's your favorite female superhero?
Well, that's interesting because I will say at moments sometimes
Mashika.
almost at the drop of a hat, I like to say
No,
Wonder
sorry.
Woman.
Mashalka.
Okay, he's talking.
He doesn't care.
No.
Trust me, it's never.
I tuned that out.
Yeah, he does.
Go ahead.
Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman because I love the fact that we get to touch on her in so many ways.
Whoa.
Politically,
Okay.
No,
Wait, what?
stop.
What?
Politically, no.
What?
Politically, we get to speak about her stance on women's rights, women's civil rights, and how there should be a level of equality. Two, we get to speak on her as being an outsider or an outlier when it comes to being part of the Justice League, being a woman and being pretty much the strongest woman, almost the strongest woman alive. There's a lot to be said about her, and it's like, when does she know to okay, let me be humble and let him rise, let his ego rise, and when do I have to be able to be like, hey, you know what, that's enough, you've done enough, Superman, sit down, Clark. When does that happen? And for them to explore it, I enjoy it.
Jessica, let's switch gears for a second. I want to talk to you about
I'm the lesbian.
something that you have probably a lot of experience in is talking with a lot of our fans. Who is one of your favorite fans, but conversely, who's one of your least favorite fans?
Oh,
wow.
no.
I don't know
Bars
if
and
that's-
tone, please.
Hey, this is my show here. I'm talking about doing what I want to do.
No.
We need to hear him.
Jezza, go to sleep.
Go ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No.
Oh Lord.
This is what this channel's all about. Go.
Not being a troll to our
Least
supporters.
favorite is the troll himself.
Who is that?
It would be Mr. Martinez, Mr. Metro
God.
PCS guy.
God.
Jezza,
Wow.
you are just
Wow.
a puppet.
Hey, this is Shade, and what am I doing? I'm throwing it your way. That's
Why
what
do you
Joe-
guys hate on him?
I didn't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
wow,
you guys.
Wow.
Joe,
It's
like
just-
Joe
I'm
doesn't
with
feel that
them. I'm
way.
with them
You
on
just
that.
want Jezza to be the mouthpiece so you can look into this.
I'm with them on that though. There's a lot of vocal people that that may
Sometimes,
or may not.
well, a lot of vocal people.
Oh,
that
now
need
you want
learn-
to switch
There's a
up.
lot of vocal people that need to learn to shut up.
Not getting into
That's
this.
true. That's true. I'm not going to disagree.
Look at that. Our numbers are going up after we.
There are a lot of vocal
True
people that
story.
need to learn to shut up. You know, it's like that whole thing of, oh, I'm woke, and it's
How
like,
dare
yo,
you.
some of you need to go to sleep.
How dare you?
It just
Wow,
feels
it's
that
just
way.
like being on this cast.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I don't know what that even means.
Shade.
Wow.
Shade.
Well, they got it.
Shade.
Damn it. It's so cool.
I didn't say
underneath-
any of
I'm
you
just saying,
two.
I'm just saying it's so cool underneath all this shade. I'm just saying. Staying out of the sun.
Well, let's open that conversation up. That's a can of worms. Yeah, that you see.
Oh.
Everyone's doing
Oh,
a shoot
there
style
are
thing with
there
no-
are cast members that some people don't like.
Yeah, now he's really cool. This is our first
Oh
episode.
my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
This is our
Oh
first
my
episode
gosh.
of this.
There
Oh,
are
man.
fans that say that there are cast members they don't like, and I always wonder why. Why don't they
Sam was
like
at the
them?
bottom of that list.
Yeah, that was so weird to me, and I'm like,
Blackwing
why?
hates Sam, by the way.
Why?
Wait, why does Blackwing hate Sam?
hates Sam.
I don't get it.
Blackwing, why do you
is it
hate
Jalen? I
Sam?
thought it was Blackwing. It's one
I
of
thought
the
it
two.
was Blackwing, but maybe it's Jalen.
Wait, didn't Jalen have a problem with Jesser a couple
No,
weeks ago?
Carlos. That's because Jezzer keeps making fun of him for saying that one thing that he
Yeah,
said.
no,
What
it
did
was
Jezzer
something.
say?
Like, you started and
Oh,
everyone
it's
was getting on Jalen, and he
Oh,
was
my throat.
mad about it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because you say so much shit, like, you don't even know what you
My
say.
throat. It just feels. Ugh.
No, that
Oh.
was
Not me.
used to. I didn't know.
It was
Screw my
true,
throat.
bro.
Did you just say screw my throat, my
No,
friend?
Jalen was
Oh.
mad
How
at-
dare you say
no,
screw my
Jalen
throat?
was mad at Jess, not Jezzer.
Jess.
What really?
Toku Kid, yeah.
Toku Kid.
Oh,
he was
okay.
mad at Toku Kid.
Not me. You're getting
He said
some-
screw your
All right,
throat.
let's so back to basics here. Look, people are like this is going to be good because they want to hear this kind of shit.
They
man.
do. They want to know. They
Who
want
was
to
in there?
inside
The
baseball.
The reason I see it is Blackwing. The reason I dislike Sam was because he was giving me a list of things not to do when I went to Vegas.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Oh.
Wait, really?
Because someone's trying to tell you, hey, you shouldn't do. You got.
He doesn't like Ernie
Oh,
He does not like Ernie.
Getting real here.
Ernie's like my little
Dang.
buddy.
Dang.
My little buddy.
I don't know who these people are, but
buddy.
dang.
You don't know
No,
Ernie?
I don't know.
I've met Ernie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you don't
Are
really.
you surprised?
Never met Ernie.
A little.
A little bit. I am. Like,
All right, so let's play a fun game.
okay.
No, not playing Never Have I Ever.
Too late. We're doing it.
How can you come on a show like this and not want to play games?
I said I'm not playing Never Have I Ever.
All right,
That's all I
okay,
said.
fine.
We're gonna play cast member you least get along.
Nope, I'm not doing that
See?
either.
You gotta choose. All right, if never have I ever cast member you least get along. with.
One of the two.
I don't even
One of
have
the
liquor for Never Have I Ever. No.
two. There you go. It's not hard.
No, yeah, we still talk about Jalen's throat. That's never gonna go away.
Oh my
That's
god.
Leave Jalen
Oh
alone.
my
So
god.
funny.
That was them.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
Leave
so,
Jalen alone. I'm gonna make a whole video in my poorly lit
so
room.
we.
Oh,
that's
Jesus,
a great
great.
cookie face.
Yes.
That's a great game
Are there
shirt.
flavors?
Oh my god! Like,
Nope,
put that on.
that's
Put that
our
on.
shirt.
Oh,
Cookie
oh.
face faces.
He doesn't like. He doesn't.
Cookie
Sam,
face army.
he says, "LOL." I cut
Yes.
Sam some
Oh,
slack.
that's your shirt. I
He
like how you
also
teamed up to
says.
go
He
against
also
me.
says.
Fine.
It's just Ernie can be very boisterous.
Yes.
All of us can be very boisterous.
We
Voice-
all
So
do
here's the
that.
deal.
Voices.
The one thing that we kind of came on the show, and I know that. Listen, I'll be honest with you. You guys got to pull the curtain back a little bit. You guys got to actually talk about shit that people don't necessarily know.
I don't have a problem.
And that's. This is the whole point of this channel, Miguel.
Yes.
It's not. Hey,
Some
if-
things are private.
Listen, if you
we
want,
don't need to
That's
air
the problem,
things.
though.
this is the
There.
whole point of this. If you want all the stuff that's private, go to hashtag. Show.
That's why Jezza
That's
gets
the
into
reason-
so many.
I don't get into anything.
If you want the guarded individual, you go to that hashtag show. If you want to know, pull the curtain back from that guard, then you come here to PCR.
What's so wrong with the way I do things?
I don't know.
Okay, so let's bring up a topic right now that I want to talk about. it's huge in the geek community. I want to talk about cosplay.
Ooh, cosplay always.
No,
gets
it's not
me
a no.
college.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna kind of bring this up because Jezzer's a big proponent of cosplay because
never
he's
stops.
a cosplayer. He doesn't think it stops. I want to know your guys' opinion of cosplay. Johnny, I'm gonna start with you mainly because
Wait, what happened now?
'cause, you go to many conventions and you see a lot of cosplayers. I want to get your take on what you feel about cosplay and cosplayers. Now, cosplay in general is great, but I want to know what you feel about cosplayers in general.
Okay, Kind of. All right, so I love cosplay. Like, I think cosplay is so cool, especially like when people are like dressed up as their favorite characters and they're coming out there promoting the community. And what's really great, especially like when people cosplay for independent books, like indie books and everything like that, it just helps like spread the word. It's like free marketing and it shows love for what we do. So I absolutely love cosplay. Now the thing about this is because like cosplay is so close to like anime and comics for me. The one thing that I don't like is like when people kind of like exploit it. Like I don't like exploitive cosplay. Like when people dress up as characters just like for a Patreon or to sell stuff, but they're not into that stuff. Like you're dressing up as like Mary Jane, but you actually don't know about Spider-Man or who that character is or anything like that. You're just doing it because you want to get like $20 a month or something like that. I understand everybody needs a hustle, but I just love it when it's genuine, when it's not being exploited. But that's just me.
Damn, you're a purist, son.
So now I want to talk to Jezer. Talk to me about your cosplay, what you think about cosplayers. I mean, you're a cosplayer yourself.
Do you think it's cultural appropriation by dressing up as War Machine?
She said I can't. She said I can't do War Machine because I'm not black.
I didn't say that,
Yeah,
number
you
one.
did.
You
Oh
just
my
made
God.
that up.
You said that once.
I just asked you the question I really asked you just now.
It's documented. So
Did you really tell
apparently
him
he said it
No,
somewhere.
it did not.
He said it was. I don't know.
So wait,
No, but
You're a liar.
talk to me
Dozer.
about, chat me up
I
about
like how you-
cosplay, your
that's a lie.
experience, what you feel about other cosplayers, and what you like and what you dislike about it.
Wait, make him answer the last question.
is it cultural appropriation because you're doing?
You can
Okay,
cosplay
good.
whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly, because the whole thing with cosplay is that you're supposed to be able
Okay,
to.
so if
show
Ron
your love.
cosplayed Black Panther, what would you think?
It's fine.
It'd be fine.
Wait, whoa.
No, you
Hold on,
can't.
hold on,
no.
hold on.
How many black people would cosplay Spider-Man?
That's different.
Superman,
How is it
Batman?
That's different.
How's
How?
it different?
Because Black Panther is rooted in his cultural roots of Wakanda.
Okay, last time I checked,
Nobody
Superman
said
is
it's-
white and he grew up in Kansas. That sounds like culture to me.
No, he's
I don't
from
know.
Krypton, and it's not
Wait a
an
minute,
all-white people.
I
He
will
grew up
say
in
this. I
Kansas,
will
which
say
is where
this.
they make white people.
Hold on.
Panther was also
Hold on.
created
Whoa,
by a
whoa,
white
whoa,
man,
whoa,
though.
It's getting out of
Whoa,
control.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Listen. So Daniel, I'm gonna dispute what you just said.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. You said anybody can cosplay whatever they want. That completely debunks what Johnny was just saying. Mainly because he says I hate when people cosplay things that they don't know about. However, you're saying your statement
I
is
see
saying
what you're saying.
you
Yeah,
can cosplay
yeah.
things whatever they
I
want,
did say
even
a
if they
blanket
don't know
statement.
about
No,
it.
that's true. And I'm going to have to stand by the blanket statement. Because the thing is, I feel like if they have some level of interest and maybe they don't have a deep enough knowledge of it, are you going to go ahead and condemn them because they don't have a deep enough knowledge of it? But yet they have some tip
No,
of
but he
knowledge.
was
Well, hold on. Let one person talk at a
So-
time. Wait, you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Johnny.
No,
So-
let me
No.
pile on.
No, let
No.
him go.
Let
That's
him go, and then you're going to...
Wait,
Yeah.
elaborate on what you were saying.
Okay, so for me, it's about the exploitive nature of it because not only are you dressing up as it, but you're dressing up and charging for it as well. That's where it kind of gets to me because it's exploiting it.
Oh, who's
And so-
charging? Oh, you mean Patreon?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
what I'm saying. So, for example, let's say like Megdalia just like again, Megdalia doesn't know much about anime, but she sees like Tenchi Muyo or she sees like Rurouni Kenshin. She's like, oh, I like that character. She's like, I want to dress up as that.
Throwback.
Totally cool. But when someone's like, oh, you know what? If I dress up as like this dragon babe, I'm going to get like 50 more followers or whatever. Blah blah. So So that's when it was like, but you're just being exploitive and everything like that. So that's what I'm talking about. So I do feel you. I feel like when it comes to race and factors of that, people should be able to cosplay wherever they want. But I'm mostly speaking to like those people who like cosplay for money in a way and talk about the exploitive nature of that business. What I'm mostly talking about.
Okay,
Does
so-
that
Okay,
make
wait,
sense?
hold on. Before we move on to what you're going to say, Jezer, I know you wanted to chime in. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's exactly what he was saying. He was saying that he doesn't think it's cool when they try to make money off it when they don't know anything about the source material. But as far as like whatever a person wants to cosplay, it's whatever they want to do.
Okay, so going on to that, Daniel, I know that you wanted to chime in on that.
Oh, talking to the mic.
So I know, Daniel, you wanted to chime in on that. What did you want to say?
Actually, well, okay, right there, Johnny schooled me. That is true. That is actually very true. But here comes the question where it's that level of cosplayers that see cosplaying as a source of income, or they see it as, well, a source of income, and pretty much what I am is just a model offering or portraying this so I can get paid. Are you going to condemn them also if that's literally how they do see it?
What do you mean by condemn exactly?
Well, are you going to tell them, oh, well, you know, you're defaming cosplay itself, and you shouldn't be able to cosplay. You shouldn't show up to this con because you don't know about this character, and you're just doing this for the money.
No, because I'm not going to inhibit on anybody's freedoms. The thing about it is, though, do I have to respect it? No. But do I have to like it? No. But can they do what they want to do? Yeah, because that's their freedom to choose. So if they choose to do that, they can go right ahead. But if they ask me, they're like, yeah, go ahead, do what you want to do, but I just don't feel it's right. I feel if you want to cosplay and do this, you should dress up as characters you actually appreciate, things that you know about, because I think, one, you're going to have more fun doing it. Two, you're going to help build up that fan base for those things and help get more people to know about it. And I think it'll be just more beneficial. Explore instead of just going with like some popular character that you saw someone else cosplay as. For example, there was that bubblegum cheerleader or whatever happened a few years ago from that horror game, and people were just all dressing up as that, and that's just like that's just free advertising for the game. But there's something that you're actually nerdy about, and you cosplay as it, and you help build that up. Guess what? You're building up that fan base, and you're helping out that creator as well. So I think that helps out when they actually cosplay, as things they're more passionate about. Plus, when fans come and talk to them, guess what? They actually know more about the stuff. That could actually help benefit their fan base as well, because then they're engaging with actual fans of that too.
Now, Migdalia brings up a great point, because her original point to this whole thing was appropriation of who you're portraying. And I actually, I'm not going to take a stance here because but I will say this. I think it's a very valid point, because that's the Black Panther's a sense of pride, communally and kind of society-wise,
right,
that it's causing a lot of reaction for a certain sect of people to rise up and kind of be like, hey, this is our hero.
It was in response to, you know, all these white characters that were created, you know, against all of that. So it just depends. Like, I agree, cosplay shouldn't have a color, but certain characters shouldn't be like whitewashed for the sake of it. Like, I don't like that argument.
But she's not saying anything different though.
No.
From the people that we've known, or not even known, but some people are complaining about casting in Hollywood, kind of like Princess Jasmine being whitewashed. In the Aladdin movie.
Or what they call, quote unquote, the brown out, which is you can't just pick one brown for another brown. Like, people are saying that. That's a big thing.
But is that white? Go ahead. I was gonna say, but is that whitewash though? Whitewash generally applies like towards the film industry when you're taking a character and you're doing this large portrayal of them and everything like that. But in this sense, when it's like cosplay like that, it's more of a fan of that character.
But on a micro level, that's what I'm saying, where it's like the brown out, which is what they're calling it, where it's like, okay, hey, this person, which actually Tony brought up on your casting. She was like, you can't pick this Hawaiian brown and say that that's a Native American brown. Like, that was her argument, which is like, okay, I kind of get it.
Then it's kind of racist to even say Hawaiian brown.
Well, that's the thing. But then she broke it down to me, and she was like, well, think about it, Daniel. Do you get offended when they cast something like, for example, Bad Boys 2, and they were like, oh, watch out, it's the Haitians. But all they did is cast nothing but Jamaicans. Are you offended by that? I'm Haitian. So it was like, am I offended by that? And I was like, not really, I don't care. It was, they were existential characters. They didn't really matter. They were here for a moment. They were gone. But if it's an actual like character, for example, Heroes, they cast someone. They called him the Haitian. He actually is. Jean-Pierre is Haitian. So it's like, it's great to see that. Yeah, exactly. So it's great to see
So let me ask you a question. That you pose a great point. So my question to you is, with a character of being of an origin as such,
right?
Like
when their origin story is so rooted.
If it's so rooted in something, does it bother you if that gets cast as something else? Like, for example,
does it diminish the character?
Does it diminish?
Because,
yeah. Let's say let's just use an example.
Use Black Panther, because you know, as you see with Captain America, he was played by the Falcon, who is a black character. But that's okay generally, right? Because it's just a title for the most part. But can somebody of white origins take on the mantle of Black Panther?
Ooh.
But realistically, too, we also got to take in, because you can't, if we're going based on you can't trade one brown for another brown. I feel that should apply
versus South
to Black Panther as well, because we're talking about African characters, but none of the people that were actually casting Black Panther were actually African.
No. I think we're talking about extremes from this point, because obviously it's not great to do that, but it's still being done in Hollywood.
And you also still got to sell movie tickets, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I understand that.
But the whitewashing, going back to that, and even bringing it back once again to cosplay, it's like that question of, well, if we say, no, a white person like Rob cannot go ahead and be Black Panther, then we have to negate all that happened before, when we had people that were like, yo, I just want to be Superman, I'm black, so I'm dressing up as Superman. It was like, before we had the alternate world,
I think that's different, though. I think
2.
Superman's a different character, because Superman's supposed to represent everybody. Black Panther.
But he's white.
Black Panther doesn't technically.
But he was white because he was created in the 30s. They weren't going to give him another color than white.
That's the thing, though. But unfortunately, it is because he's white. So there are white people.
But that can't be the excuse for every little thing.
Well, hold on. Even to her point, though.
Okay.
Dean Cain wasn't fully
Very
white.
true.
Was
Very
it?
true. No,
Nobody
it was
really
not.
complained about
No,
it.
it was not. No one did. But there have
Because
to
he looked
be-
white enough,
see,
so
that's the
let's
thing.
be
From what
real.
We understand no one complained about it, but we all know that someone complained about it. When somebody complains about a Cheerio commercial that has a black kid and a white parent or whatever, and they're all going crazy.
Chester looks exhausted.
Definitely. the
You want
same
to chime
exact
in,
thing.
buddy? The Blackwing says you look exhausted.
Get
I
off the
think
camera.
There's that
panel.
one cosplayer that cosplayed as Batman, and he was black, and that kid had came up to him and was like super excited because he said that even someone that looks like me could be Batman.
And I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing.
I think that we shouldn't be limited to what race you are when you want to.
So then, should
I
there
agree
be
for the
ability-
most part, but
should there be
come
that
on,
ability
no
of-
little white kid's
well,
gonna run up to a white black parent and be like, look at you.
Very true. No, very true.
That doesn't
But there
happen in
may
that
be-
kind
No,
of
but
a
what
race.
if there is that white kid? What if there is that white kid that's racially blind? Let's say it that way, and the kid only understands, well, that's a male and that's a superhero. I love this superhero.
I think-
that
I
is a
think-
male.
I don't think a
I
child
want
would
to
look
be
at
him.
it like that. I think he would just be, if he saw a black person in Black Panther, he'd be excited.
But you know,
if you're talking about
Yeah,
color
but what
blindness.
if there's a white kid that looks and he's like, dude, I want to be. He's my favorite character out of all of them.
All right,
Black
all
Panther's
right,
my
Johnny,
favorite.
Johnny,
I
go
wanna
ahead.
be him.
Can I? Well, because here's the cool thing about it though. Like we talked about Rob, but let's be honest. So like Rob's like this grown man or whatever. We think about
Yeah, right,
cosplay
right.
Or whatever.
and they come from love and everything like that. Think about like a kid who says he wants to cosplay as Black
That's
Panther.
what I'm saying.
Now the thing about it is like we
Kids are
remember like I
different.
remember well
They
here's
have different rules.
But here's the thing, like I remember watching that commercial like with the black kid. He's like dressed up as Black Panther.
Yeah.
And it was like holy shit. Like
Dude.
I was just around when I was a kid.
Single
but,
tier.
And there's like that white kid with them and everything like that. Instead of being like the token black kid, it's this token white kid. But imagine this though, the token white kid who's like, you know what, Black Panther's dope. I like Black Panther. That's my favorite hero. And he starts dressing up as Black Panther. And you know what happens like 20 years later? He's not scared of me and Daniel walking down the street.
Yeah, that's
and
a great
then that
point.
leads to like other things.
So I
and
was
so
in-
the guy who's also cosplaying as Black Panther might also, guess what? Be
You
cool
shouldn't
with me
have
and
to
Daniel.
dress up
I-
as
I-
Black
I-
Panther
I-
for that.
So
But I'm just saying though, I'm just like kind of
Target
missed the
the other day.
opportunity.
I was in
And that's
Target
dope
the other
about
day.
representation.
I was in Target the other day, and one of the cooler things that I saw was I think they has these like Black Panther costumes for like these little kids costumes. I saw two white kids go up to those costumes like, oh, I want that one, the Black Panther one. To me, if a superhero movie can make such significant change culturally, that's really cool. I understand exactly what she's saying though, in terms of like, it's a celebration of a character that's so ingrained into this culture or somebody else's culture that they want to celebrate.
And I don't
their
think
own.
But-
War
I get
Machine
that.
counts for that. Like
I get
think
what
that's
she's
fine.
saying.
Yeah.
I do, but may I say this though?
Okay,
I think it's a
okay.
celebration of diversity because the cool thing about that movie is though is that like it showed like guess what you can cast like this all black movie and guess what it did well because people are yearning for this and then we can cast an all yellow movie
No, I
and
agree.
then do the same thing
That's
and
never
look
happened
Latino.
yet.
But say,
Okay, yeah.
but that's what we're working towards because I remember like one of the cool things about Black Panther to piggyback off your stories like you guys remember I'm a teacher. I took my students on a field trip to see this and I teach in South LA. I teach black and brown kids and literally at the end of the movie one of my Latina students turned to me was like, you know what, I know I'm dressed up as Halloween. I was like, what? She's like, I'm dressed up as Black Panther. And again, this is like a Latina girl, again, going against gender norms and like racial norms, but she loved that movie so much, that character inspired her so much, and it kind of helps show like we can bring communities together. It kind of gets rid of the lines that divide us and says, you know what, let's just start coming together and to see each other as people and as heroes. So for me personally, I'm just saying, like, I see it dope like that.
Like I remember recently, like going over Black Panther again and then writing something, and I was like, I'm just holding on to this. I don't know what it was, but it was like I love the fact that Disney made a film that makes a stand on not whether or not we fight white supremacy, but rather how we fight white supremacy or the idea of it. And that was great, and that's what it did. It just fought, once again, inequality. That's what the film fought. It was like, well, this is how inequality is being dealt with one particular group. Now, there are plenty of other groups that are also dealing with it too, and it was just, how do we address that? It wasn't like, oh, we hate white people. No, it was just, we hate the people that hate us, and that's all it is.
You know, the only downside about that thing you just read to me that you wrote was, why was it on your phone, not on our website? However,
Because I didn't write a whole story. I didn't write a whole story. That was the problem.
Well, let me bring up another point. Iron Fist. Do you think they should retool the
No.
origins of Iron
no.
Fist?
And I had this.
I
I
have-
debated this
no.
last night actually.
Wow, last night.
Iron Fist should not be an Asian guy. It makes
Okay.
zero sense to me
Why?
because that's kind of racist to say just because you know kung fu you should.
You
be
should
Asian.
be, yeah.
That's
Because
bullshit.
honestly,
That's like
if
saying,
you
hey,
want to say that, yeah.
you can literally say, hey, this guy is a superhero that mows lawns. Should he be the Hispanic guy?
Yep.
Right?
Or
That's
or
bullshit.
or
Like,
this
that's
is the guy that played basketball. Should he be a black guy?
And also taking the Iron Fist character, it's supposed to be a fish out of water about somebody that couldn't accomplish something that everybody else is doing in that zone. And it makes sense. More than likely, it makes more sense to have Iron Fist be an African American guy or a black guy, just in general, because that's a fish out of water in East Asia, in an East Asian place that wouldn't be accepted by anybody. A white guy too, that works fine. But having an Asian guy be in East Asia about karate, to me, sounds a little racist.
I will say this though, so I totally agree with what you're saying, and I think the problem with this though is you said having to be a black guy totally works, because I think the problem with Wiz though is that when it's a white guy, it becomes the Great White Hope scenario again. Like again, that argument that Paul Mooney once put out. We got the Mexican starring Brad Pitt. We got the samurai starring Tom Cruise. We got the white guy who shows up and does things.
Doctor
that
Strange.
better than you, and that's kind of like the problem. It's
Fine,
like
I understand that.
it's like the white it's like white man can't jump. Woody Harrelson, I'm balling on the brothers.
But is it-
it's like wait, what? He's doing what now?
I
Daniel,
don't-
block his shot.
Woody Harrelson is black, okay?
But I know,
Well, I'm out, everybody.
No, Woody Harrelson in this country.
That's not my problem. My problem with that whole scenario is that let's make this one the Asian guy. That could be a Hispanic guy.
No,
that could
yeah,
be a
I
black
agree with
guy.
you.
I think that's
Like,
bullshit.
if-
we're
But that
gonna
was the rhetoric of the
if
day.
we're going to
Yeah.
take a chance on making an Asian superhero that should be a lead, make Cyclops somebody like Scott Summer or Hal Jordan or Nightwing or you know what I mean, Dick Grayson.
Don't get too crazy now.
but like make
No,
make
but Nightwing
honestly
actually,
like
Dick
Dick Grayson
Grayson
would be
yeah,
fine as
that
an
would be
Asian
perfect.
guy. It
No,
makes sense.
no, I totally agree with you.
People have done
Like,
the
they-
toolings where they're like, why does he look Asian? And they're like, we never said anything.
Like-
but yes, he does.
Like Loki, what if Iron Fist was Puerto Rican?
Sure,
Or like or
absolutely.
Latino or something like that, and all of a sudden you drop over there,
Iron
it brings
Fist
in
is a
all
Puerto
these
Rican
mixture and
would
things
be
like
so
this.
good.
Exactly.
It
Oh
doesn't
my
matter.
God,
I just
a
think
Boricua Iron
me
Fist.
personally, I think that
Oh.
when the Asian, and I'm half Asian, but when the Asian community was kind of like, oh, Iron Fist was our chance to have this Asian. That's dude, you're saying pretty much like, hey, your superhero's the guy that just happens to do karate for everything. That's bullshit. Like make it somebody, put it outside the box. That's what they did with. That's
Look
what.
how ridiculous Luke Cage was too. It was grounded on some racist elements, and
Right.
Wonder Woman was bondage and
Oh, come
and all
on.
this,
Yes,
like
definitely
damsel
it
in
was.
distress.
Exactly.
Definitely it was.
I don't think that like you
So
can.
that's
you-
not totally off the mark for them to say that.
Right, but I think that for me, I think that if you're going to have an Asian character, if you're going to make it a significant impact on a community, make it somebody of a prominent role that doesn't do the karate shit.
Here's the question then. Deadpool 2 recently just came out. Shatterstar with Asian.
Yeah, fine with that.
Did it matter to anyone?
No,
Nope.
because
Okay,
Shatterstar's
see,
an
and
alien.
that's the thing. So no one
Mojoverse.
cared concerning that. Why does everyone care concerning Danny Rand?
Because Danny Rand, because I mean, he makes it
Because he's the whitest.
Johnny makes a
person
great
ever.
point.
In the
Just
comic,
kidding.
he's white though. Then you should let it be.
Well, no. Johnny's
No.
point is right. Like I do agree with that. Like me personally, if Danny Rand was a black guy, Puerto Rican guy, an Hispanic guy,
Yeah.
just not an Asian guy or a white guy, I'd have been fine with it.
Yeah.
Because you
It's
gotta
not like a
remember, too,
guy
though, the
from
prob-
Italy or something
Exactly,
like that.
because
yeah.
the problem with when Iron Fist was created, all those characters were created back then, every character was a white guy. And so the thing about it is, when we get some of these opportunities to recast these people, it changes the diversity of it. It just brings it to like a modern look, and that's the cool thing about it. So making Danny Rand like a diverse character just helps elevate that story while keeping it the same. Because his race doesn't play to a factor of who
Right.
he is.
Well,
if the race story
actually-
isn't benefiting off his race.
Actually, I feel that it actually is because it's once again, like you said, a fish out of water. It's the whole thing where I'm in an area where I am literally not what anyone else is.
Exactly.
Everyone else has a particular level of a culture that they hold close and dear. I am not. I am completely stepped out of that. I'm not like African or Hispanic, like Afro Mestizo or anything. I am a white person, and I am not connected to them at all. I am usually seen as a conqueror. I'm usually seen as an appropriator. I'm usually seen as an enemy to these people. And yet, they are taking me in, and they are showing me, because they say that we're going to believe in just the prophecy itself. It doesn't matter. That says that we transcend race, and we understand exactly who you are because of who you are. That's why I feel the white
same would
part,
apply to
I
a
think,
black
is different.
person.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
No,
see,
no, no, no,
white
no, no,
people-
Especially with how
No,
blacks
the
are
Asian
considered
community-
blacks are not considered conquerors. Considered
No.
Asians.
But
We are not
traditionally,
considered.
a lot of Asian people are racist
well,
towards black people.
well, traditionally, Asian people are racist to black people if they come to America because what they understand is is what the popular demographic tells them, which is okay. The popular demographic being the white people. White people say, "Oh, well, blacks are kind of dangerous. This is how we show you. This is how we show them in the news. This is how we show them in media. This is how we." So, what are you going to believe? I'm going to understand what I see overseas because I don't actually get to see it hands on. And the thing is, once again, we are not considered conquerors to them, while white people are.
But
And that's where it's like, dude, all these things line up against you, and yet we're going to accept you. And we're going to make that change.
But Daniel, the problem with it is, though, is that continues that narrative, though, because he goes there and becomes a conqueror again. He goes there, becomes better than them at their own martial arts. He becomes their chosen protector.
He doesn't become
and he
the
does all
conqueror.
these things. It's like
He doesn't become
becomes
a conqueror.
again. He
You
conquers
said-
them and beats
well,
them all.
How
to
can
do
you be a
this.
conqueror if you just said the words itself, chosen protector?
Well,
if they chose you as a protector, you can't
The
be a
white
conqueror.
savior
That's different. That's a different style. I
complex.
disagree with that because you can say chosen protector is certain. You're not chosen by the people. You're more so chosen by the circumstance.
prophecy,
Exactly.
though.
No.
That's the thing, it was a prophecy.
Remember, it wasn't really a prophecy. It
white
was a
savior.
martial art.
It's the white
it was
savior.
Well, it is a great white
And it was a
hope.
martial arts tournament that he went through and beat up everybody else who had been living
You
there
should
for
get on this
years,
show,
who
too.
had come from children and like who grew
For
up
the next
here
5
and
minutes.
beat them all up. Was like, guess what? Everything you've done, I'm better than you at. You know what? Let's call this 8 Mile and Kung Fu Land. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. And then the thing about this was like, I agree with Migdalia. Like, you can do the same
Damn,
story.
he's got me, dude. No, the
It's like-
8 Mile in Kung Fu Land. That shit is. I'm done.
and
You
then-
drop Mike, you're right, but keep
And
going.
then Migdalia had a point right there because do the same thing with a black person because the thing about this was that black people across the world are seen as this negative stereotype.
Yes,
you go to
we
any
are.
country in the world, the darker your skin are, the more you're oppressed.
Well,
so the fact that
dude,
he can
it's
go
worse.
there where he's still the darkest person, and then he's like,
Wesley
going to things like,
Snipes
you're supposed to be a
did a
threat.
great Iron
exactly.
Fist.
You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this.
Actually,
and things like
you
that
probably
proves them
would've,
all wrong,
actually.
and they become to accept him as like, we were wrong about you. And it kind of showed that maybe we should accept and like get involved more.
Instead of seeing him as a conqueror, they see him as debased. They see him as lower. They
Exactly,
see him as nothing.
exactly.
And then he rises, and they're like, "Well, damn, we were wrong the whole
And
time."
he's still an
So it's
outsider.
still-
And then guess what?
Yeah.
And then it shows this thing about minority communities coming together because, to be real, like we've got plenty of stories about like white people going and being part of minority communities. We don't have enough stories about us coming together.
Yeah,
and
true.
that would
I
be
mean, I
dope
don't-
as well
yeah.
because you got to also think about as well.
You know, Michelle-
Wu Tang,
Michelle
the
Pfeiffer
black
does not-
African American culture loves kung fu. And think about this though, to do that like Wu Tang style, everything like that. Imagine Iron Fist with a black character to a Wu Tang soundtrack.
Which-
that show
That-
just got
which
10
did
times
happen, and
better.
I was like, "What
It
the
got
hell?"
10 times
It did
better.
happen. I was like, "What the
It's
hell?"
like all of a sudden, think
Yeah.
about it. That final fight scene, he's beat up all the hand. All of a sudden, you hear Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
No,
Wu
that's
Tang
true.
Clan ain't. I was like,
Think
oh
about it.
shit.
You remember
Cream just comes
who
through.
Was it,
That's
who
it.
was it that just directed? It was the Man in the Iron Fist movie. Was it?
That was the RZA.
Yeah,
that was the
so,
RZA.
So
Yeah.
if you would have done Iron Fist similar to that, why not? Right?
True.
I think that there's more. I think personally, I just think it's a little racist to say, hey, we need to make the karate guy the Asian guy. That's like,
Yeah,
Right, okay,
and then because
okay.
again, I agree with him because my problem, like we'll talk about this later, maybe on another PCR, Ready Player One. My biggest thing I got upset about was
okay.
both the Asian kids knew martial arts.
Yeah.
and I was like, the fuck,
Yeah.
like, how?
Immediately-
How is this 8-year-old just
literally.
giving hands all of a
Literally,
sudden?
When I saw it, I was like DAFUK, like FUQ. I was literally immediately just like, what? Oh, you guys really went there for both of them, not just one, both.
They should just had the black girl
They were
start
brother,
taking
brother.
the black girl should took out a basketball and start spinning like, huh, good job everybody. Let's go back to the shake now. Shuffle.
all right. So this was just a taste of what you're gonna get on on Pop Culture Renegades. It's gonna be a show about our opinions, obviously about our views, just getting to know us as people. We want this experience to be for you guys. We're going to wrap it up right now. That's just a taste of what you can get. And you're going to get every cast member of Hashtag Show eventually on here to learn about us. Jezza, we're going to start with you. Where can everyone find you on social media?
All social media at Jezzer Zeus.
No one heard you.
Go ahead, Daniel.
You can find me, Battlestar Galactica, on Instagram.
You can find me at that Hashtag Joe, Migdalia,
At Mickey Spicy on Twitter and Facebook.
and Johnny.
You can find me at JohnnyP313 on Instagram and Twitter.
That's going to do it for us here at Pop Culture Renegades. If you like what we do, check us out on Hashtag Show. But if you want to get to know us, check us out right here on Pop Culture Renegades. That's it, guys. Renegades
Renegades
out.
out.
It's out.